In Chapter 5, we're going to talk about implementing community policy. You have looked at the philosophy of community policing and the key players such as the politicians, business people, faith-based organizations, civic organizations, the schools, the community, and the police. You've also considered a basic component of community policing, problem solving. The challenge is to move from theories about using problem-solving techniques and partnerships to the actual implementation of it. Change. Nothing is constant except for change. Police departments can resist, or they can accept the challenge and capitalize on the benefits that may result from change. And what we all need to realize is that change takes time. Most police officers would find proposed changes to their culture extremely threatening. However, when contemplating the challenges of change, one must remember that even a huge ship can be turned by a small rudder. It just takes time and steadfast determination. If we just continue at it, eventually we will see the progress take place. Let's talk about some needed changes. As far as community policing, it's going to require a change in your management style, your mission statement, the departmental organization, as well as the general approach to fighting crime. And of course, among these three core components are the community partnerships that's been formed, problem solving, as well as change management. And change management is the development of an overall strategy which examines the present state of the organization, envisions the future state of the organization, and it devises the means of moving from one to another. Let's talk about creating visions and mission statements. Vision might be thought of as intelligent foresight. Examining departments' past for strengths as well as weaknesses. Successes and failures is an important step in creating a vision for the future, and the vision should include the essential elements such as community policing philosophy, problem solving, empowerment, forming community partnerships, as well as being proactive, making preventive crime as important as enforcing the law, because this is ultimately what we're trying to do. Let's talk about some developing strategies. Hundreds of strategies have been developed to implement community policing. Among the most common are the use of foot patrol, bikes, horses, as well as block watches, community surveys, citizens volunteer programs, just to name a few of the many strategies that can be implemented to help in this type of an endeavor. Hiring and promoting. Recruiting and selecting personnel are among the most important considerations in successfully implementing the community policing philosophy. Experts believe that police agencies that hold tight to the traditional crime-fighting model of policing will have a very difficult time transitioning to new ways of doing the job. They're so used to doing what they've done all of these years. It's just like any other person. When you get comfortable doing what you've been doing for years, it's hard to implement another plan, and that's the problem that police fall into as well when they're trying to change an organization. Let's talk about some of the benefits that might be achieved from community policing. The benefits are numerous to the department, to individual officers, as well as the community at large. First of all, it brings police closer to the people. It creates productive partnerships between the citizens and the police. Citizens see problems, have solutions, and it actually makes them want to get involved because they see that there is a solution to the problem that they're facing. Citizens also feel empowered, which will also make them want to get involved because they feel like and they know that they are a part of the solution to whatever problem is taking place. more police resources can be allocated to have the greatest impact on the quality of community life. Also, there's also going to be increased job satisfaction among the officers because they're going to start enjoying more what they're doing as they continue to interact with the community, and they see a difference being created within the community in which they serve. Now, of course, with change, there's always going to be resistance. So let's talk a little bit about resistance to community policing. Despite the many advantages and benefits that are presented by the community policing type of an approach, resistance is going to be encountered, and it should be anticipated. Resistance can be reduced by positive communication from the chief or the head of the agency. When they realize that the police chief or the head of the organization is on board and they're doing all they can to make things better for the organization, this will help to reduce the resistance that is taking place from the officers and the organization as a whole. Let's talk about evaluating progress. Evaluating progress can take many forms. It's built into the strategic plan. Think about it. Which goals and objectives have been met and which ones have not? Also, if they have not, then what can we do to help make it better and to make them be implemented and work well into how we said we were going to try to make it work into the community and make things better. You also may have to conduct a second needs assessment a year later to reassess what's been taking place in order to make it work. Failure should be as important as successes because a department learns from what it does and does not do as far as what works and what don't work. So we can also learn from the things that we've done that work, as well as we can learn from failure from things that do not work. So we need to keep all of that in mind. Failure is not the end. Failure, we can learn from failure. Failure can be positive because we can learn from it. In summary, transition to community policing requires change in mission statement, department organization, as well as the leadership style. The traditional law enforcement organization design has been that of a pyramid type of a hierarchy based on the military model. So in order to implement community policing, this pyramid has to be inverted. In other words, it has to be turned upside down.